ଏଠୁ ଏଇ ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେଇନି ଆଜି ଜୟଗୁରୁ।
जयगुरु संक्षिप्त स्तोत्र वंदना। ओम ब्रह्मानंदम परम सुखदम केवलम ज्ञानमूर्ति द्वंद्वातीतम गगन सदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलं अचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। Jai Guru, welcome to all of you to the session of today of Nigam Swadhyay group under the banner of Vacation Bliss. We have got Anvesha Anindita from Katak Saraswat Sangh, Jobra Asan Mandir. I am requesting her to kindly recap the session of yesterday. Over to you, Anvesha. Jai Guru.
Jayaguru Bhai, Jayaguru to everyone. So the summary of the yesterday's session is: first, Chaitanya Bhai's journey to the Samlani at Motha. Chaitanya Bhai, despite facing significant financial hardship, made great efforts to attend the Sarvabhauma Samlani held at Motha. He somehow arranged a small amount of money that was just enough to cover his travel expenses. His determination and devotion reflect a deep spiritual longing to be part of the gathering, which was considered a sacred and transformative experience of the devotees. After the Samilani concluded, Thakura personally called Chaitanya Bhai and inquired whether he found joy in attending the Samilani. Upon hearing Chaitanya Bhai's affirmative response, Thakura instructed him to return and share the joy and spiritual insights he had gained with fellow devotees such as Barnamali Bhai and Durga Charan Bhai. This moment illustrates both the personal attention Thakura gave to his devotees and the importance he placed on the sharing of the spiritual experiences within the community to inspire and uplift others. Second, planning and Thakur's unexpected advice regarding the Samilani at Following the successful Samilani at Motha, there was considerable enthusiasm among the devotees to organize the next Samilani in Puri. Initially, it was believed that Thakura himself had publicly announced on the dais at Motha that subsequent Samilani would take place in Puri, which further encouraged the preparations. However, upon reaching the Puri and sitting by the sea, Thakura unexpectedly advised against holding the event there that year. He suggested that the devotees should focus instead on attending that Sarvabhauma Samilani elsewhere to gain experience and then consider it in hosting in the Puri in the following year. This sudden change confused the devotees, especially since many had already spread the word and made substantial progress in organizing the event. Motivated by their deep reverence and belief in their earlier declaration, the devotees insisted on proceeding with the plan. They respectfully informed Thakurjee that it was too late to cancel as many people had been informed and arrangements were already underway. Upon hearing the plea and seeing their commitment, Thakura reluctantly agreed, saying, "Okay, whatever you desire." Unbeknownst to them at that time, Thakura's initial reluctance to proceed with the Samilani in Puri was rooted in his foreknowledge of his impending passing. His decision not to disclose this was driven by a desire to protect his devotees from grief and disappointment at the critical juncture. Third, divine vision at Nilachala Kutira. After the passing of Thakura, many of his disciples were left heartbroken and spiritually adrift. Among them, Bonamani Bhai and Durgacharan Bhai were particularly shaken. Yet they were determined to proceed with organizing the Sammalani at Puri. Even in the absence of Thakurjee's physical guidance, while many devotees voiced practical concerns such as difficulties in arranging the accommodation and food, these two maintained that fulfilling Thakurjee's prior wishes was more important than any logistical hurdle. During this time of emotional and spiritual turmoil, a miraculous event occurred. As Durgacharan Bhai was resting at Nilachala Kutira, he experienced a vivid spiritual vision in which Thakura appeared before him sitting on a chair. While Durgacharan Bhai greeted him with awe, Thakurjee smiled and reassured him, saying, "Yes, I have come here before the Sammalani." He even invited Durgacharan Bhai for a walk on the beach. Though Thakura soon vanished, the encounter left a deep impression, confirming to the Bhaktas that Thakurjee's spiritual presence still involved them and they had this divine approval to continue. This vision was not only merely a comforting dream, was also seen as a true darshan that one reignite their faith and gave them the courage to move towards forward with the Sammalani in Puri, knowing that their Guru was still guiding them with the spiritual plane. Fourth is the miraculous perseveration of the Vigraha. One of the most spiritually electrifying events that took place during the ground procession of the Thakurjee's Vigraha near the Jagannatha temple following the Sammalani at Puri. The crowd was thick with the devotees and the air was alive with the sounds of Sankirtana. Amidst that celebration, someone noticed that Thakurjee's Vigraha appeared wet. At first, devotees assumed it was just water or condensation, but repeated attempts to dry the image failed. To their astonishment, it became clear that the moisture was not water, it was perspiration, appearing as if the image was itself was sweating. This inexplicable phenomenon unfolded in front of the thousands of witnesses and was immediately recognized as a divine manifestation. In reverence, the devotees placed the image in the shade of a tree and began to fan it. Only after the perspiration stopped was the procession allowed to resume from Bogala Dharmashala to the Nilachala Kutira. The miracle was taken as an undeniable proof that Thakurjee's spiritual presence translated into his physical death. It served as a sacred reminder that Guru, though no longer in bodily form, remained vibrantly alive in spirit. The spiritual journey of the Raja and Rani of Bastar, King Prafulla Chandra Bhanjadev and Queen Prafulla Kumari of Bastar, were not just rulers but seekers deeply yearning for spiritual guidance. Despite their royal status and access to the religious institutions, they had yet to find a true guru. Their search remained fruitless until they undertook a spiritual vow at the temple of their family deity, goddess Dantakeshwari. In answer to their prayers, the goddess appeared in a dream and instructed them to seek out Swami Nigamananda of Bengal. Acting immediately on the divine revelation, the royal couple began their search and eventually located Thakurjee at Nilachala Kutira in Puri. Upon meeting him, they experienced the deep spiritual connection they had long yearned for and took Diksha from him. The queen developed a profound daughter-like bond with Thakura, whom she revered not only as a guru but as a spiritual father. Thakurjee in return embraced her as a spiritual daughter. The relationship symbolized the meeting of a spiritual thirst and divine compassion. Responding to their quest, Thakurjee visited Bastar during Durga Puja and delivered enlightening spiritual discourses in the royal court, which were attended by both nobles and commoners. Through this journey, the queen and king of Bastar became living examples of how divine graces guides even the most powerful towards spiritual awakening when the heart truly seeks it. Thakurjee's visit to a humble devotee. In a striking demonstration of humility and divine impartiality, Thakurjee once diverted a grand welcoming procession intended to take him to a landlord's palace. While being paraded through a village with music and flowers, Thakurjee suddenly ordered the procession to stop in front of a modest thatched hut belonging to a poor couple. Without prior notice, he stepped down from the decorated vehicle or chariot and entered their home. The stunned couple, overwhelmed by the unexpected honor, stood frozen until Thakurji gently prompted them, asking if they would let him sit. They nervously offered him a mat and apologized for the lack of the resources. When Thakurji asked for food, they admitted that they had only one shared utensil, and so he requested a banana leaf instead. The couple hastily served him a simple meal which he ate with joy. After the meal, he astonished them further by offering them diksha right there in their humble home, without the rituals or grandeur. The Thakurji initiated them with the utmost simplicity, revealing with what mattered most to him was the sincerity of the heart, not the material status of the devotee. He then calmly rejoined the official procession and continued on to the landlord's mansion. This event powerfully encapsulated Thakurji's message. True spirituality recognizes no barrier of class or wealth. What touches the divine is inner devotion and the pure of intent. Bhava Vinimay, an emotional oneness with the devotees. One day, in a playful moment, Thakurji teased a young boy, perhaps sternly warning him in a chest. The child, genuinely frightened, burst into tears and threatened to complain to his school principal. Later, to the amazement of the disciples, Thakurji was found alone, quietly crying. Concerned, them asked him why he was upset, especially since he had done nothing wrong and was revered by all. Thakurji smiled and replied, "It is a bhava binimaya, a Sanskrit term meaning exchange of feelings." He explained that since he had made the child cry, it was now his turn to cry in return. This deeply tender moment reflected Thakurji's remarkable ability to empathize with even the smallest and seemingly trivial emotions of others. His behavior, while humorous on the surface, carried profound spiritual meaning. He felt his bhaktas' joy and sorrows as his own. In this childlike simplicity lay the essence of his spiritual greatness. Scriptures often state that realized souls or gyanis become childlike, not childish, because their minds are purified by divine knowledge. Thakura exemplified this purity. Though he carried immense spiritual authority, he chose to relate to his devotees through innocence, compassion, and emotional vulnerability, revealing the sacred bond of shared feeling between Guru and disciple. The role of Thakurji as a strict spiritual guide. Though Thakur was known for his affectionate nature, gentle demeanor, and emotional sensitivity, he was unwavering and strict when it came to the spiritual evolution of his disciples. He deeply understood the needs of each soul and adjusted his approach accordingly. At times, he was nurturing and warm. At other times, he could be stern or even silent. To the untrained eye, his behavior might have seemed inconsistent or puzzling, but in truth, it was governed by a higher awareness of each devotee's spiritual path. Thakurji believed that the genuine growth required inner discipline, surrender, and readiness, and he did not indulge in the spiritual sentimentality at the cost of a disciple's progress. When needed, he would withhold the affection or remain aloof, not out of detachment, but to awaken the greater strength and self reliance in the devotee. He never compromised on spiritual principles. To him, spiritual elevation was not about comfort but about transformation. This combination of love and firmness made him an extraordinary guru who had of divine support but also challenged his disciples to rise above their limitations. His method marked the mark of a true master rooted in clarity, wisdom, and selfless desire for their ultimate goal of his followers. Crisis of faith in a Tripura family. In a remote village of Tripura lived a poor but spiritually inclined family. An elderly mother, her son named Ashwini, and his wife Sailabala, and the young child. Ashwini and Sailabala were devoted followers of Thakurji and kept his photograph in their bedroom, where they worshipped him daily. However, the old mother steeped in rigid traditional beliefs, believed that worshipping photos of saints brought misfortune. Despite her protest, the couple maintained their devotion, quietly continuing their daily puja with love and faith. Tragedy struck when Ashwini died unexpectedly with cholera. Grief and Grief and shock engulfed the household, and in anguish, the grandmother blamed Thakurjee's photo for her son's death. In a moment of deep emotional collapse, she snatched the photo and, lamenting loudly, declared it the cause of their suffering. This heart wrenching episode illustrates how pain can loud judgment and even sincere spiritual practices can be shaken by personal loss. This story is not just about superstition, it's about the fragile balance between the faith and the grief. Jai Guru.
Thank you, Anvesha. A good round of applause for Anvesha Anandita. She is hailing from Katak Saraswat Sangha, and the way she narrated starting from Chaitanya Bhai till Sailabala, having described about the Sukshma Leela of Sri Thakur for the first time in Jagannath Dham Puri during the procession of Samilani, to the initiation of Raja Prafulla Chandra Bhanjadev and Rani Prafulla Kumari. So the entire incident is also very important aspect in Thakurjee's life story. So she recapped in a very described way, and I think whoever have joined today and not attended yesterday would have got entire clarity. So may Thakurjee bless you, Anvesha. May Thakurjee bless all of you. The way you people have started, recapping, it's really miraculous. Thank you. Now I am requesting Nirlipta Nivedita Ma and Devashish Mahanti Bhai to kindly present the result of yesterday.
Jayaguru Bhai, Jayaguru to all. So yesterday we have received 42 responses. So from junior group, Anand Swarup Bhai from Pune Sangha, Riddhima from Karnataka Sangha, and Aryan Sahu Bhai from Karnataka Sangha. And from the senior group, Sivanita Asma from Ekamro Sangha, Naresh Bera Bhai from Delhi Sangha, and Priyan Sima from Hyderabad Sangha. They all got full score and the quickest hand responses from their side. So congratulations to all, and also to all the 42 participants.
Congratulations to all the performers, be it junior group or senior group, and all 42 bhais and mas who have attended this question and answer session. So thank you for attending this question and answer session. We have got Jasaswini Mishra from Jamshedpur Sakha Sangha. Jamshedpur Sakha Sangha is the oldest Sakha Sangha outside Odisha. So when nobody was thinking of, because our Sangha's name is Nilachala Saraswata Sangha, and it was started in Jagannath Dham Puri, and having spread their wings into Odishas, so some bhais like late Udanath Rath Bhai and all could dream of having a Sakha Sangha outside Odisha, and basis on that, now we have got many Sakha Sanghas outside Odisha. So the origin was Jamshedpur Sakha Sangha. We are fortunate to have Yashaswini Mishrama from Jamshedpur Sakha Sangha today to have the reading for today. Over to you, Yashaswini. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
The little amount of money they had was exhausted within couple of days. Out of modesty, they could not disclose their situation before anybody. After the money was gone, they had to depend on spinach, but after few days, they could not get anything to eat. Out of hunger, Saradabala could not sleep that night, and at the mid of the night, they heard voices of peoples, and they knew the notorious persons of the village are coming to take advantage of their plight. Sarada started trembling in fear because she knew they would misbehave with her. Both of them had no option but to pray Thakur. They fell on the ground before the photo of Thakur and prayed with tears to save them. Outside, the voices and the sound of their feet almost reached their door. They panicked and cried before the photo of Thakur, saying, "Gurudev, please keep your word. Save us." Just then, Thakur revealed himself in that room and sitting on the ground near them said, "Have no fear, I have punished them and made them run for their lives." They clutched his feet and cried. Thakur assured them, saying, "They will never come again. Relax and sleep well. I will be guarding your house every night." He gave them some money, a gold ring, and said to them, "Tomorrow a boy will come to you and give the boy this money to purchase some foodstuff and cooking materials." He made a line on the ground outside their house and told them, "You must not cross this line. As long as you are within this line, nothing is going to happen to you. And some days after, a person will arrive at your house with a letter and with an identical gold ring. Without fear, you can accompany him and come to me." Saying this, he vanished. Next morning, a boy arrived asking them if he could help. He brought them enough foodstuff with that money, and after many days, the chulla stove in the kitchen was lighted with fire. They heard people discussing that on that night, when those notorious fellows tried to break open the door, a vicious looking dark woman came out with a dagger in hand and attacked those persons, and they fled with severe wounds on their bodies. Of course, no one has any idea who the woman was. Obviously, it was the ever alert Guru Shakti, which manifested itself as the women to save them. After a few days, Thakur sent a Sevak with a letter to bring them to Mutt. Sadawala had no idea about Thakur's handwriting, but when the Sevak produced the identical ring, they accompanied him to Mutt. Thakur was discussing Vedanta with his disciples when Sarah, along with her family, reached there. Sadawala had never seen Thakur in person but could immediately recognize him, and she fell on the ground shedding tears of obligation. She narrated before all how Thakur had saved them and how he had eaten rice and spinach in their house. A pall of silence fell over the disciples, and Thakur cried like a little boy. Closing the book, he said to others, "Look, leaving Vedanta has arrived at our Mutt." Thakur looked after their need and allowed them to stay at Mutt for the rest of their lives. Footnote: everybody knew Thakur had never left Mutt within past 1 month. Yet, he had arrived at Sadawala's house, taken food, and had saved them from the utter humiliation and sure death. No one should have any doubt about his omnipresence. Anybody at anywhere can get his help if his or her prayer is genuine. Not only his omnipresence was proved, but also it was proved beyond any doubt that he is the ocean of compassion, always alert and eager to protect his devotees. Few of his advices. First, celibacy. Observing brahmacharya does not make a person fat. A thin person observing brahmacharya does have a type of lustre on his face. By observing brahmacharya, one saves the oja, fluid energy, which remains spread over one's entire body, and preserving that makes one look wonderful. Indians have lost their strength, health, and courage of the past due to lack of brahmacharya. Rituals. Rituals should be conducted either with the objective to upgrade one spiritually or for good health. If that does not happen, then it is better not to waste time and energy in observing rituals. Third, mind. Mind has 5 basic activities. A. Kipta, outward movement. This happens when a man is established in Tama, loving sensual pleasures, and to avail it, one remains prepared to inflict harm on others. B. Mudda, foolish. Mixed result of Tama and Raja, creative anger, ego. One is firm, what one thinks right, and never accepts others' advice. Hence, he is mohagrasta. C. Vikipta, not yet established on any subject. If sattva, pure truthfulness, is more and raj remains less, then it happens. It lacks concentration but not engaged in nefarious activity. D. Ekagra, concentration. Its activity is controlled by pure thought and deed. Avails power of concentration. Purity of mind or sattva brings in this state of concentration. E. Niruddha, detachment, inactivation. This is beyond any outward activity of mind. Total concentration on idol, on mantra, or on the theory or spiritual subject. Yoga's objective is to attain this state of mind or niruddha. Fourth, Physical body and subtle body. Physical body is made of 5 elements, that is, Khiti, Up, Teja, Vyama, Marut. Earth, water, warmth or fire, space and air. Subtle body, not visible to naked eye, is made of 5 airs, 10 organs, mind and soul. It is made of 17 elements. To acquire physical knowledge is easy, but it is difficult to acquire knowledge of subtle world. Fifth, theist and atheist. Knowledge is the true form of soul. To acquire detailed knowledge about all the objects of creation is not possible. Acquiring knowledge about self, Atma-jnana, means acquiring total knowledge of creation. Through Atma-jnana, one acquires this knowledge of creator and of creation. If one can know the self, that is, who I am, then he can acquire knowledge about God. But one has to accept one's existence, then try to acquire knowledge about I. If you can realize this I, you can know everything. He who does not have faith in God is not declared as an atheist by Hindu scriptures, but one who does not believe that I or soul exist, does not have faith in karma phala, reaction of every action, and who does not have faith in afterlife and rebirth is declared as atheist. There are many Hindu philosophies who do not believe that God exists. These are called Nirishwarvad philosophies. But these are not declared atheist philosophies. Sixth, Shrashta, creator, and Maya, nescience. Like a spider's web, the spider weaves a web with silken threads originating from its body. The thread, though has originated from it, is certainly not the spider. The spider sits at the center of the web and can also move from one end of the web to another without being entangled in it. But any other paste or moth falling on the web gets entangled. The spider in this case is the creator or God, who is beyond the entanglement by his creation, and the entangled paste and moths, which are ruled by nescience or Maya, are created subjects. 7. Vedanta and devotion. Vedanta has accommodated both philosophies of duality and monism. Vedanta, focusing on the single entity, has described it as Brahman, Ishwar or Bhagwan. Those who move in the path of knowledge are advised to concentrate on never-ending, attributeless, formless, all-pervading Brahman. Yogis worship Paramatma. Those who follow the path of devotion decide their objective to move nearest to Bhagwan. There exists some difference between bhakti described by Vedanta and bhakti professed by Bhagavata. So also Ishwar of Vedanta is different from Ishwar or Bhagwan of Bhagavata. Though the name Krishna is mentioned in Gopal Japaniya Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad, Krishna is mentioned with a different concept by Bhagavat. Vedanta description of Bhava has gone up to the level of Santa Bhava, but Bhagavata has described in glaring details Dasya Bhava, Sakhya Bhava, Vatshalya Bhava and Madhura Bhava. Lord Sri Krishna did not descend on earth to kill one or few demons only. The main reason behind his self-revelation was to establish and show the world Sambandhanuga Bhakti, relation between God and individual, and desireless, pure devotion, Prem Bhakti. 8. Vedanta and Bhagavata. Where Vedanta ends, Bhagavata starts. 9. Atma and Paramatma. Individual soul and universal soul. Individual soul and universal soul. Paramatma can be observed or realized through Atma. Yogis do realize Paramatma within their Atma. 10th, Maya or nescience. Maya is not a lie or untruth, but the performance of Maya is based on illusion. Like one thinking a piece of rope as a snake becomes terrified. Neither the rope is unreal nor snake is unreal. But the thinking the rope as snake based on wrong conception is not true. The wrong conception evokes the same reaction like that of a true observance. But when one realizes that it is a rope, not a snake, the reaction goes away and the work of Maya is put to an end. 11. Devotion. When bhakti gets germinated in one's mind, there remains no place for greed, anger, and urge of sensual pleasures. Bhakti is such a powerful stream, it washes away all the desires and makes the mind clean and pure. 12. Jnani and Bhakta. knowledgeable person and devotee. Many think that devotees do not possess knowledge, but in reality, Jnani acquire knowledge about Brahman and Bhaktas about Bhagwan. The spiritual activities of Bhakta is based on unconditional, unflinching faith or Vishwas, and Jnanis depend on analyzation or Vichar. If a Bhakta is ignorant about Bhagwan, then he or she cannot be established on Vishwas, faith, and without faith, Bhakti is meaningless. One has to adopt the path of knowledge or the path of devotion. Who will adopt which path is predestined. Germination of bhakti in a person is a sure sign of matured knowledge existing in him. Sprouting of knowledge is possible in one due to the stored devotion in one. The constituents of
Jayaguru.
Sorry.
Thank you, Yashaswini Misra from Jamshedpur. A good round of applause for Yashaswini. It was a difficult chapter because many paribhasas were there, definitions were there today, and she pronounced each and every definition very accurately. And may Thakurjee bless you, bless all of you. Both Anvesa and Yashaswini did very good today. So we will go to the questions and answers. We have got our expert Jnana Bhai Jayaguru. He is already available. So Jnana Bhai will start from yesterday's pending thing. So what is Hladini Shakti? Or
Right.
if you want, you can tell all Sambit, Sandhini, Hladini, whatever you want.
Right. So I started talking about that yesterday.
Yes.
That Brahma, the Nirguna Brahma, that is Brahma that doesn't so exhibit any quality, and formless, all powerful in a sense. Advaita Vedanta believes that that's the only existence in this world. Nothing else exists because they change. So Brahma is defined as like Brahma doesn't have any property, but if we have to apply some property, then it is called Sat Chit Ananda. Each of those properties, if we want to say it, defines the divine self that Brahma is. Sat exists all the time, unchanged. Nothing changes in Brahma. It's always same state or same identity. Chit, embodiment of knowledge. So Brahma is knowledge itself. And Ananda, full of bliss. As our writer of this book that we are reading, Santosh Bhai, our president, joined the other day and answered a question saying that what's the difference between happiness and bliss. So he said, if you take happiness and that happiness, I'm paraphrasing his definition, if that happiness never ends, it stays at the highest level forever, then you don't have any sorrows. That's called bliss. So that is Ananda. That's what one of the way to define Brahma. So when Brahma created this world, so the Sakti or Maya got attached. When Maya gets attached, then Brahma can express. Otherwise, all these three properties we are talking about, Brahma cannot express them, because that's how the definition of Nirguna Brahma is. So now, when Brahma expressed himself of these three qualities, then there are three, powers of that. Sambit, Sandhini, and Hladini. So, lot of emphasis in the Bhakti Vada of Hladini Shakti. Radha is considered the epitome of Hladini Shakti. And especially Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition that Gauranga started, and Thakura has, this Hladini Shakti is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavat Purana. And it defines what, and today we read a little bit of that, it defines what bhakti is and then prema bhakti is. There are differences. Bhakti or devotion, any of us can have it. We are here, we are listening to Thakura's biography. So we are devoted, we have devotion. So now take this devotion to another level where we talk about prema bhakti. That requires effort, that requires, sadhana, to get to that level. There is one mention today I saw very accurately, Santosh Bhai says that if you look at Upanishad, they kind of go up to basically the five bhavas that we know, Santodasya, Sakhya, Vaschalya and Madhura. It mentions only Santa bhava. It doesn't talk about these other bhavas. That is because in Advaita Vedanta, that's all it goes to. And when you go to Prema Bhakti, it defines the other bhavas beyond Santa bhava. You have to establish yourself Santa bhava, that you know that you are that undivided Dvaita Brahma. And then in order to have this divine play or lila, then you define these other bhavas from there. Hopefully that makes a little bit clear. If not, we'll keep adding.
Thank you. I would like to remind everybody, I was trying to get that particular line from today's discussion. I'm not able to find out. So let me tell everybody, will recall. Today we heard Krishna in Bhagavata is having described in a different way compared to Lord Krishna in other part of these scriptures like Vedanta or other part. So Krishna in Bhagavata, whatever has been written here, he described in different way. That's only because this Hladini Shakti. Otherwise, yes. Krishna as Brahma or the creator or the Jagat Guru is entirely different character, different aspect. So this Hladini Shakti is the the softest. How can I explain? So it's a very adorable portion of Krishna, and it's all because of Radharani, and that's what Jnana Bhai told very categorically. Hladini Shakti is the epitome of, he used this word, the epitome of Hladini Shakti is Radharani, and this is what it is. And what Krishna in Bhagavata is because of the Hladini Shakti of Radharani. Otherwise, he is a man who can tell him Nirguna Brahma and all these things. So I think it's clear. If it's not clear, then they can ask over the YouTube. We will try to get more clarity. The second question I will go. Tushar Mahanti Bhai is asking if Thakur Maharaj visited Ugratara temple during Kalijai visit. He is also supplementing Bhai. I read from Sangha Sevaka that Prafulla Chandra got Tara Mantra and his Purohit was from Ugratara temple, Basudevpur, Khurda.
As far as I know, Thakura went through Khurda because he was going on a train somewhere, but there is no report of Thakura ever getting down at Khurda. But when he visited Chilika, he did go to Kalijai temple and he took a quick bath because they had to go early in the morning. He usually takes bath around 11. So when they got to the island, he got down and stood on two little stones and then poured like two thing of water into him, and then he went inside the temple and he started saying very loud voice Tara Tara, and that's how that's all it describes in Nilachala. But this other temple, Ugratara temple, I have not read. If anybody has any mention any other books, then we can always refer back to it.
Yes, Bhai, and in Nilachala Thakura Nigamananda or Nilachala Bani, this has not been written. So if Bhai has read from Sangha Sevaka, we have to check. Bhai, can you also post that portion in this Nigam Swadhyay group for our knowledge also? Okay, so we'll go to the next question. When Jamshedpur Sangha established, it's 1969. Jasaswini Mishra Ma has already mentioned. I don't remember. They just completed 50th year. We all were there 4 or 5 years back. So that's why I was not very sure. And Kolkata also 4 or 5 years back celebrated their 25th year. So it's very clear, Kolkata. Of course, when Devendra Bhai and all were there, they started Pathachakra. Even before that, some other Bhais, I forgot their name. But it was not a permanent kind of thing, because Bhais were going to Kolkata in seeking of job, and then again returning back to Odisha. So it was not a permanent kind of thing. But yet much later, it's become permanent now. So we got to know कि Nini Ma's date of birth is sync is with Liluma. She has mentioned. Okay, so Nini Ma, we need sweet from you then. You are a lucky person. Let me. Okay, Jaganmay Das Ma from Hyderabad is asking, could you please explain today's reading in brief manner, as it was little bit complicated. After Sailabala's this thing, I think then all these definitions came. So that is why she told this. But anyway, Gyanabhai, there is another question. What are the 17 elements of subtle body? So if you can explain the 24 element in put together, I think some portion of Jaganmay Das question will also be answered.
Right. So let's go through some foundational thing. So internal to us, there are four elements called antakarana. One is mind, mano, buddhi, intellect, chitta, the recorder of all the events, and ahankara, the ego. Those four are called antakarana. When Santosh Bhai mentions 17, what he's doing is, and it is done in various other scriptures, Santosh Bhai is not unique to that. What they do is they merge chitta and mano into one unit, and ahankara and intellect or the buddhi into other units. So that becomes two. So then you have pancha gyanendriya, pancha karmendriya. Then you have Chaturvinsati Tattva includes pancha tanmatra that we have talked about, and then pancha mahabhuta, which are the physicalization of those tanmatras. Kityapte marudbema. It also mentions in the book that we have your earth, water, fire, wind, and space. Those are the physicalization of these tanmatra, or the subtle element of that. So that's your 24. What Santosh Bhai mentions as 17 limbs of Sukma Sarira. So you take those 5 out, then you add these mana and chitta into one, and then intellect and ego into one, then that becomes 17.
Gyanabhai, little bit about their characteristics, properties, or
so pancha gyanendriya, those are the 5 indriyas that we use in a subtle way to perceive things: eye, ear, nose, tongue, and your skin or a touch. So those are the 5 gyanendriyas that we perceive. We can see things, we can feel something or taste something, or we can smell something, we can hear something, those kind of things. Then there are 5 karmendriyas. Those are your hand and your leg and your mouth and your organs that helps you urinate and defecate. Those are the karmendriyas because they do some physical work. So those are the 10 indriyas. And then you have those tanmatras. I think we talked about it some time ago. Those are essentially a subtle way to define the physical tanmatras, physical pancha mahabhuta that we have. So earth corresponds to gandha or smell, so on and so forth. But they don't transfer directly from gandha becoming earth or kiti or kit. They go through a process called panchikarana. Thakur has mentioned that in Gyaniguru, but a detailed description of that Thakur has written an article in Arjadarpana, very old Arjadarpana that I read, and then subsequently read other books, Vedanta Sara and other things, where what it does is, I think one day, Kunabhai, you mentioned that, I said, hey, don't go there, because it's not a very complicated math, but it is a math. So basically you have Khiti Aptes Marut Vyama, those are the 5 physical elements. The subtle elements of those are Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsa, etc. So you start with the equivalent of space component, and then take 50% of that, and then take 12.5% of the other 4, mix it, that becomes Vyoma. Similarly, so when you say Gandha, subtle element converts to Khiti, then you take 50% of Gandha, 12.5% of each of them, add them up, they become Khiti or Puthi or dirt, whatever you want to say. So that's how they are calculated, called Panchikarana process. I really don't want to go to any deeper than that. We can, but it will just go above, everybody said.
So why I insisted Gyanabhai to little bit explain in detail, just to answer the question of Jaganmai, you have to read, you have to really read, you have to read and read and read and get it into the heart to understand everything. It's not an easy thing to explain. That is why in Shastra it is called paribhasa or definition. But yes, to make it more interesting, let me finish in 2-3 lines so that you will get interest in reading and knowing exactly what it is. So Gyanabhai told 2 things. 24 things are there in our body to get into a body. So when, like we know, okay, God has created us, so He used 24 elements for the preparation of this body. So out of this 24, Gyanabhai told 4 are internal and 20 are external. These 4 controls these 20. So what are the 4? He told Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Aham. So let me explain how it works. So today we have got session, we were having session at 9 o'clock. Jasaswini Mishra Ma was having seva of reading it, and Anvesa was having seva of recapping it. So they knew it from yesterday. So what they did, so Mana told, okay, I have got this seva. So Anvesa Maha started recapping, putting notes, this, that, and to ensure the recapping is good. And Jasaswini read twice, thrice, or maybe 5 times, I don't know, because her reading was perfect today. So Mana told, I have to present. So he sent the file to Buddhi, like in office or you are mailing or whatever. So Buddhi told, yes, I have to be very ready because there will be many Ma and Bhais from the entire universe. Everybody will listen to me. Everybody will be watching me. So Buddhi sent that file to Chitta. Chitta told, I have to do it. So he stored that. Whatever Mana has decided, by vetting with Buddhi, Chitta stored these things, and Aham, Purusakara, has started executing the thing by preparing notes, by reading it twice, thrice, all these things. So let me give another example. Suppose जानू को किसी को मीठा खाने के लिए मन हुआ, तो बुद्धि को भेज दिया, तो बुद्धि ने बोला यार मीठा ज़्यादा खाना ठीक नहीं है, डायबिटिक्स हो जाएगा. फिर मन बोला नहीं आज तो मन कर रहा है, तो बुद्धि बोला चल आज खा ले, आगे मत खाना. तो बुद्धि उसको ओके कर दिया. बुद्धि ओके कर दिया तो चित्त में आके स्टोर हो गया. फिर चित्त में स्टोर हो गया तो अहं को ऑर्डर हो गया, अरे जाओ मीठा लाओ. कहाँ से लाओगे ना, फलाना दुकान में अच्छा मीठा मिलता है. कैसे लाओगे, तो किसी के ब्लिंकिट से मंगाना है, या तो खुद गाड़ी लेके जाना है, या तो पैदल जाना है. फिर अहंग जो है उसको एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. जब अहंग एग्जीक्यूट करेगा, ये पंच ज्ञानेंद्रिय, आंख देखेगा कौन सा मीठा लेगा, कान सुनेगा कोई बोल रहा है ये मीठा अच्छा है, थोड़ा खुशबू आएगा, और हाथ में टच को ठीक होगा, और फिर मुंह में जाएगा तो मीठा लगेगा. तो ये ऐसे काम होता है, हमारी बॉडी का जो प्रॉपर्टीज है वो ऐसा ही है. It is only to give you some ideas about the properties of the internal elements. Very easy to say, very difficult to understand, very difficult to remember, recall. These all things have been read by Thakurjee, understood by Thakurjee very easily. That is why his Guru Sachidanand gave his name to Nigamananda, because Nigamar Niguda Tattva ଅନାୟାସରେ ଆୟତ୍ତ କରିଥିବାରୁ ସେ ନିଗମାନନ୍ଦ ହେଲେ. ଏବଂ what Thakurjee wants, we all to be Nigamananda. He told us very categorically. So it is all of us duty to understand everything anayasare, so that we can also be Nigamananda. So this is task for all of you. So thank you Jaganmai Das for asking this question, which create a turbulence in the group now. So Ninima is asking, Chit means Chetana. Am I right? Correct me, Gyanabhai.
You can say that. That is the it basically really means consciousness. Chetana is a Hindi or Odia word for that. So yeah, that is true.
Tushar Mahanti Bhai is asking, if Brahma Atma Bhagavan is same as Sat Chit Ananda?
Well, they're same and different. They're same because Brahma, Atma, Bhagavan are defined as three different states of Brahma, whereas Satchit Ananda are one way to explain what Brahma is. So let me go a little bit deeper. I won't take too long. Brahma, we know, that's the Nirguna Brahma. It pervades everywhere. You don't find anything visually in this universe where Brahma is not present. Whereas Atma is the localization of Brahma, which is engulfed by Avidya. Whereas Bhagavan is the special state of that Brahma when you add Maya to it. So Thakura has explained that just like you have water, and water has steam, and water has ice, and depending on the temperature they change. One is ice, one is water, and one is steam. They are actually essentially the same. So here the same thing. Sachitananda Maya Avastha, which is Maya means it is spread everywhere, Brahma. Sachitananda Ghana Avastha, which is Atma, which is kind of concentrated in one physical body, you can say. Then Sachitananda Ghana Vigraha Avastha, which it has taken the shape of this universal Ma, that is Bhagavan.
Thank you, Bhai. So Tushar Bhai, I hope you got the answer. Jana Bhai told, yes, they resembles, but he also explained Brahma has got all the three bhavas. Sat, Chit, Ananda put together is Brahma. But when he, just to explain, he used the example of Thakurjee, ki barafa, pani, au baspo. I hope you understand. So we'll go to the next question. Jasaswini Mishra, okay. So one part is answered, the other part is, what is Gopala Japoniya Upanishad?
There are 110 Upanishads that are recognized. So this is one of those. Out of those, about 108, I think. Out of those, about 10 Upanishads were more important that Adi Shankara has written explanations for them. This particular Upanishad is not part of those 10. I have not read it. Santosh Bhai might have. I'm still trying to get to the 10. I've done only 3 or 4 or 5 now. So I need to finish to get to the 10. And then I'm going to stop there because there are Upanishads, there are almost unlimited Upanishads out there.
Yes, so let me tell, like Gyanabhai told, there are 108 Upanishads. So how Upanishad came, Shankaracharya did the, Brahma did the Vedas. So this is what, Veda Vyasa did it in earth, Brahma did it in heaven. So in whichever way you understand. So there are 4 Vedas. So out of 4 Vedas, then became Vedanta, then became Upanishad. And Upanishad are being the then Karikas, So many tika, many explanation of the same Veda in different version, in different ways, just to woo the devotees. So many saints were there. They started, writing the same thing in a different way, or to make sure. And depending on the time, depending on the circumstances, it was required to wrote, being written that point in time. So that is how it is. So this Upanishad, as the name implies, must be from bhakti related thing. We have to go through what exactly it is, but yes, the name implies something like that. The next question, Gyanabhai, is from Vidisha, Hyderabad. What is Madhura Bhava? And the other question from Ninima is, please repeat 5 Bhava name.
Oh, okay. So Madhura is fifth one. So we can repeat them. Santo Bhava is first one. Santo Bhava is where people have the ultimate knowledge. They know they are Brahma. That's Santo Bhava. Then Dasya Bhava, where you establish a relationship with the Lord, Saitana Khana Vigraha that we just talked about, and you are the servant of Lord. And then it progresses into Sakhya Bhava, where you are the companion. Then it goes to Vatshalya Bhava, where you are the parents or similar type of structure. And then it goes to Madhura Bhava, where you see the Lord as not really a companion, where companion has a little bit of a higher and lower type of feeling. Here you are pretty much equal, and in a sense, in the Madhura Bhava, you are same but you are different, which Gaurangadeva propagated this particular type of Prema Bhakti called Achinta Bhedaveda Tattva. So Achinta Bhedaveda Tattva is based on that bhava. And I think we talked about it some time ago. So if you go to Dasya Bhava, Santa Bhava is included in it. You go to Sakhya Bhava, Santa and Dasya Bhava both are included in it. Vatshalya Bhava, all 3, and then Madhura Bhava, all 4.
Thank you, Bhai. The people who are from Odisha, they would be knowing. I'll just give an example. When Lord Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra goes for a 9 days Rath Yatra, which is coming in a month now from. So Lakshmi Thakurani, goes after 2-3 days, and as Lord Jagannath didn't take her along. He took her sister along. So with lot of anger, she went without meeting Lord Jagannath. Yes, without meeting Lord Jagannath, she broke the chariot and came back. So it is on the 5th day, which is called Hera Panchami. Now, when Lord Jagannath came back, then Ma Lakshmi is not opening the door. As per her, so you have gone with your brother and sister, go. There is no room for you. Now Lord Jagannath will try to convince her. So he got Rasagola for Ma Lakshmi. So this is a best example of Madhura Bhava. There are many examples, Thakurjee's life, this, that. So I try to tell because everybody knows this. Okay, Dr. Premanand Bhai is supplementing. Alhada means Ananda, the entity which gives unceasingly Ananda Bhava by thought or look is Alhadini Shakti, which I recall by. Thank you, Bhai. So 1969. Haan, Bhai.
That is correct.
Yes. So Riddhi from Karnataka is asking, doesn't Bhakti translate to devotional path? If yes, have we set on devotional path or knowledgeable path? Okay, Jnana Marga, Mata. Yes.
So Thakura has advised us to follow the path of devotion. At the same time, I will refer rest of you, Riddhima, maybe you're a little bit young, to one of the books that Thakura's couple of premier disciples wrote, Jivani Vani, where Thakura says very clearly, yes, I want you to follow the path of devotion, which will lead to this, so you are correct. However, you follow that path of devotion by utilizing three different aspects: jnana, karma, and bhakti. Don't confuse the jnana marga with this jnana. Don't confuse with bhakti marga with this bhakti, for example. So how so? Because you are going to, let's say, we are going the path of devotion. We are, not let's say. We are in the path of devotion, but even in the path of devotion, we need to know who we are devoted to. Then we say, yeah, we were devoted to Thakura. So all these weeks and weeks of studies that Punabhai and the rest of you are organizing, and all of us are participating, is to really know about Thakura. If you don't know about Thakura, you can't have devotion towards him. So knowing about somebody's knowledge. So you are going to have the knowledge aspect and some work aspect like seva, and some bhakti aspect as devotion. But we are going in the path of devotion where we are assuming Thakura is our Guru, Thakura is our Ishta, and we are going to be devoted and pray and worship and do all that stuff to him.
By Tushar Bhai is asking why Thakur Maharaj said life Vedanta has arrived by seeing Sailabala.
Sailabala was a very advanced soul. She perished, left her mortal body around 18 or so, and she was. I could be wrong by a couple of years here and there, so I apologize for that. By that time, she had achieved quite a bit of spiritual growth. So that may be the reason Thakur said that. I will give you one example why Sailabala is considered so advanced. Once Sailabala passed away, somebody asked Thakur, where is Sailabala now? He's going through Kramamukti. Where is Surpananda Maharaj now? Surpananda expired a few years later. And he said, yes, he's also going Kramamukti. And then later on when somebody asked, where is Sailabala now? I said, she merged with Sakhi and she is in Nityaloka. So he has never said the same thing about Surpananda Maharaj. Even though he told Surpananda Maharaj, if I give you another birth, you can go to Nityaloka or you get Nirbana Mukti. Then he prayed that, hey, let me just go through Karma Mukti and not have that. So that shows how advanced he was.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhai. Actually, what happened, there was another question also from Smita Pandama. I heard read somewhere that Sailabala Ma described the incident in some Samilani. Not some Samilani, in the same Samilani. So Sailabala...
you may be confusing between two Sailabala. I apologize. The Sailabala I said is daughter of Surpananda Maharaj. And the Sailabala you are talking about now is the person in Tripura who Thakura helped. But I don't think Thakura would have said, looking at Sailabala, I think of Vedanta as a right. I don't think that would be the case. But I may be wrong.
So what I remember, Bhai, so we will correct it. When Sailabala was getting support from Thakurjee at her native place, so then she was not knowing where Thakurjee is. So she inquired and she came because she was getting money order from Assam Bangya Saraswat Math. So she came to Samilani. She met Thakurjee when Thakurjee was not in the pendal. She met Thakurjee in the restroom or wherever. She described everything. Then Thakurjee came along with her to the pendal. So that point in time, I don't remember. I think Pragyananda Maharaj was giving speech. Thakurjee told, stop it. Let's listen what she has to tell. Then Thakurjee asked Sailabala to describe what happened. So when Sailabala Ma described everything, Thakurjee started crying. And Thakurjee told, this is Jivanta Vedanta. So Vedanta, when take the form, so how Vedanta means what? Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahmaivana Para Tat Tomasi Ayam Atma Brahma Pragyanam Anandam Brahma Aham Brahmasmi. So whatever we were experiencing, trying to think and became, that has happened with Saidabara. So that is why Thakurjee mentioned she Jivanta Vedanta, and then it was like that incident. So we'll clarify it, Gyana Bhai, at some point in time.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yes, so this is what has been read from today's discussion. That is why the question came. Okay, so now Riddhi from Karnataka is asking, what is Chandogya Upanishad?
Chandogya Upanishad is one of those 10 Upanishads I just mentioned, and it is one of the very famous Upanishad, probably the famous Upanishad, because what it does is it talks about a father and a son talking, Rusi Uddalaka and Swetaketu. Swetaketu went away for 12 years, studied, came back, and he was bragging a little bit that I have learned this, I have learned that, I have learned that, I have learned that. Then his father asked him one question. Have you learned something that tells you that once you learn it, you don't have to learn anything else? So all you students would say, yeah, if I know that, then I don't have to stay up all night and study it. So that leads to one of the, actually, out of the 4 Mahavakyas, the most famous one is Tattvamasi. So it leads to Rusi Uddalaka teaching Swetaketu what is Tattvamasi. So that is Chandogya Upanishad, in very short, brief version of it.
तुषार महांती भाई is asking, भाई समस्ते कौन क्रमोन्नति पथरे जानती? पशु जीव जंतु एमाने भी क्रमोन्नति रे जानती कि जदि नुहे तेबे सेमाने कौन मरु मरु सांगे सांगे जन्म नियंती?
Yes. Short answer is yes. नहीं, मृत्यु परे ठाकुर तांको बही रे जहा अछि 4 प्रकार डिफाइन करचंती. गोटे हला तुमरो कोन देवजान, which is क्रममुक्ति, the one you are describing. पितृजान जोटा जानती महलोक जाय, then they take birth. ब्रह्मजान जोथरे संगे संगे मृत्यु परे मुक्ति हो जाय, जो माने ऑलरेडी जीवन मुक्त. आउ गोटे कथा ठाकुर कहचंती जे जोगी मानकर माने सीधा जाइकरी से माने सत्यलोक रे पहुंच जाती बाय से ब्रह्म नाड़ी रे जाइकरी तांको ताळू फटेकरी बाहर जाती आत्मा. सीटा गोटे कहचंती. आउ गोटे बही मु एबे पढितिली वेरी रिसेंटली, कपल ऑफ इयर्स एगो, जने भाई दुर्गाचरण भाईकर आलोचना को रिकैप करिसंती. जारका संग जने भाई ताधरे लिखुचंती जे पशु मानकर उत्क्रांति हुए ना. ठाकुर एटा भी कहिसंती उत्क्रांति हुएनी माने से माने क्रम मुक्ति रे जानतीनी, से माने फटकिनी जन्म हो जिवे. खाली पशु नहंती, शिशु अप टू 12 इयर्स दे आल्सो डू द सेम थिंग. एना तांकर कोनसे कर्म संचय होई न थाए, कर्म नै कि से सुख दुख से माने भोग करंतीनी, से मृत्यु हो तांकर आउथरे जन्म हो जिवे. आउ गोटे जिंस सेठी कहिसंती, आई एम जस्ट कॉम्प्लिकेटिंग ऑल आवर लाइफ हियर, जे जो माने युवक बा युवती से माने चली गले, से माने केवल भूलोक पर भूलोक को जानती, कहने बहुत प्रेत हो जान जो माने सुसाइड करता ये सब केस गुड़ा सेठी बहुत दिन रहला पर फिर तांको जन्म हो जाए. दैट्स द ऑल दैट आई नो रीडिंग फ्रॉम डिफरेंट बुक्स, ठाकुर's book, not outside.
Riddhi from Karnataka is asking, what is Tanmatra? You just told, but she is again asking. Right?
Yeah, Tanmatras are the subtle essence of the physical thing that we see. All the physical thing we see, Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma has divided into 5 parts. Kiti, Ab, Tej, Marut, Vyama. So the Tanmatras are essentially the subtle part of each of those elements.
So Tanmatra, actually speaking, is a very vast topic, because that is the subtle part of these 5 elements. Rasar jo 5 din, each day is being termed as one of the Tanmatra. Whatever activities have been happened there, so resemblant to one of the Tanmatras, and also resemblance can be obtained with the Sarlokya, Sajujya, Sarsti. So this is a very vast topic. We'll try to cover one more day, but for your understanding, please try to read more and more from Gyani Guru, from Sadhana Khanda, to some extent Siddhi Yoga, so you will try to get something. Tuna Bhai is ready to sing, but Tuna Bhai is in YouTube, so she cannot sing. He cannot sing. Once he will come to our meet platform, then only he can sing. What is Ahanga? Riddhi from Karnataka is asking what is Ahanga? AHANG.
Could be Ahankar, I don't know. Let's move on to next question. Maybe she can explain. Is it Ahankar?
Yes. Okay, then Kamal Sahu Bhai. By Jayaguru, according to Durga Charana Bhai, he said, in a pond, you pour some water in a pot. In that case, pond water is Brahma, water in pot is Atma, and who can know this is called Bhagavan? No, this is not like that, Bhai. Whatever you told is right. Pond is Brahma, water inside pot is Atma, the pot is the body. So because we are Jivatma, what we call, so it is in that way. Ninnima is asking, Bhai, we are arranging Samilani, but I read in Nilachala Bani book, Thakur Maharaj wish is called for Bhakta Samilani, and some Bhai told no, we called for Bhakta Samilani, Baba said okay, and so on. Yes, so it was read 2-3 days back. So Thakurjee insisted the Samilani should be in Puri, and it happened also that point in time. Premanand Mishra Bhai is again supplementing, Jnana Mishra Bhakti has been instructed for us. Yes, the Jnana Bhakti Thakurangara Seita Patha. Okay, Bhai written here in the book. Priyambadama, Ninima Priyambadama has gone to, we call it class puja. So there is a session happening in Satsiksha Mandir for many Bhais and Maas who have enrolled for that. It is teaching from Nilachala Saraswata Sangha. So she will be without mobile, without laptop, entirely detached from the outer world. She will be inside a compound for 3.5 days, immersed in Thakurjee's philosophy, seva, and all these things. So you cannot even talk to her. Vijay Lakshmi Swami, difference between Khushi and Ananda. Vidisha from Hyderabad is asking. Jnana Bhai.
Same thing. Khushi comes about happiness, then it follows by unhappiness or sorrows, dukkha. Ananda, once you get to the state of Ananda, there is no dukkha. So like Santosh Bhai explained the other day, if you take the Khushi, keep it at the highest level of Khushi and keep it constant forever, infinite, that is Ananda.
ये तुषार महांती भाई is asking, भाई तेबे पशु मारिबार दोष नहीं, मारिबा ना मरिबो,
मारिबा. So नाई मु आपनको ठाकुरंको बाणी गोटे कहि दोची पूरा क्लियर हे जिवो. दिने तांकर जने भक्त मठरे तांको शिष्य जने सन्यासी तांको कहउचंती, अच्छा ठाकुर मु गोटे कथा कहकु भूल जाइथिली, पशु माने जेहेतु तांकर उत्क्रांति हुए नहीं, से माने क्रम मुक्ति रे जानतिनी, से माने नेक्स्ट लाइफ फटाफट हे जाय, तांकर सबु बेले प्रकृति द्वारा कबलित होइथिवाजु तांकर नेक्स्ट हायर लेवल को जिबे. तांकि मांकड़ हेबे पर मनुष्य हेबे ए टाइप रो. सो तांकु से सन्यासी जन को पचारले ठाकुर को, ता अर्थ आमे जदी ए जंदा पिंपुड़ा मारी दबा, से माने तो नेक्स्ट हायर लेवल को पळेबे. तेणु आमे कोन तांकर भलो करूनु की. ठाकुर कहिले तुमे तांकु नाम नेई करी काहे की बाबा मारिबा कथा काहे कहउछ. दैट्स वन पॉइंट. यदि अन्य साधु सन्तों कथा शुणिबे से कहे पशु हत्याटा गोटे प्रकार पाप. जदिओ पशु निजे जे मरीगला से तार नेक्स्ट हायर लेवल पाइब, जी मारिला तार गोटे पाप हुए. से पापटार प्रायश्चित आपन करिया पड़ियो, से पापर फलटा को भोगिया पड़ियो, आपन से कर्मर फल भोगिया पड़ियो. से सकाशे जत्पर नास्ति चेष्टा करिवे जेमति कोनोसी लोकंकु आपन क्षति पहुंचेबेनी कि कोनोसी प्रकार हर्ट करिवेनी कोनोसी उपाय रे. दैट शुड बी आवर गोल. जदिओ आम जाचे पिंपुटा दलिदेल से पिंपुटा नेक्स्ट जन्म जंदा हम कि कौन गोटे हम तार हायर लेवल को पलैब, किंतु से पिंपुड़ की दलिबार पापटा तो आमको हम ना, सेटा करबा.
by Sanjeev Bhai is supplementing two things. One is animal post death goes into deep slumber and subjected to Prakriti for next birth. So this is for everybody, including animals also. Acha, Smita Pandama Riddhi was asking what is aham, not ahang, what is aham?
Ahankara, we have been discussing that, those four antakaranas. Ahankara, very simply translated into English as ego. So one way to think about it is when Brahma wanted to be many, so how do you distinguish one from other? That I am Jnana Bhai, Sangram Bhai, Riddhi Mai, etc. So first thing when the Srishti Tattva started, I'm skipping few steps, is the introduction of Ahankara or ego. So ego really doesn't do anything. It puts a stamp on everything that I did it, I did it, I did it. This is also one of the things that goes away from us at the last moment when we achieve Jivan Mukti or Mukti, then we don't have that Ahang Bhava. So it creates a lot more problem than it solves, but it does exist. The only reason that we distinguish between or among all of us is because we have ego. If that makes sense.
Okay, let me add 2-3 lines. Dekhantu ma in dharma jagata, the same thing, like the doctor is operating a patient, he is cutting his body or whatever, he is getting rewarded, Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushan, and we are paying him to do this. But the same thing is being done by anyone else, and putting damage to somebody is called a crime. The same way in ahang, it is being also written as Sudha ahang. Sudha ahang कौन आपण माला गुंथुचंती. So आपण जदि न भाविबे मु केमती एमती माला गुंथिबे जे ठाकुरଙ୍କୁ जेमती बहुत भल लागिवो, ठाकुरଙ୍କର केते लंबा माला दरकार, केमती कोठी फूल सजेइबी सो दैट ठाकुरଙ୍କୁ ठीक मतलब बेकरे कोउटा रहिबो, छाती ऊपर कोउटा रहिबो एक्सेट्रा. सो आपण जदि एई भळा भाबी भाबी करी मु आहुरी बढ़िया केमती करिबी, मु आहुरी बढ़िया केमती करिबी, so that is called Sudha ahang, that is required. Otherwise कौन हबो, चलो ब्रह्म सत्य जगत मिथ्या को भी फूल कोठी भी दे दियो, हाउ डज इट मैटर, ठाकुर भी फूल फूल कौन ठाकुर पिंदिबे, से तांकरी तो क्रिएशन, तांको बगीचा रु से आनी कि मु तांको कौन देबी. So this is how the same ahang can be transformed into a different part altogether. So तेणु exactly कौन आपण पचारे पई चाहुचंदी, so you can take from all these things, all this discussion. निनिमा पचारुचंदी क्लास पूजा, निनिमा ठाकुर कहिचंती मु जो शिक्षा देइची से शिक्षाटा होची अनन्य, कारण ठाकुर तंत्र ज्ञान जोग प्रेम चारि साधना रे सिद्ध लाभ करचंती, तापरे निर्विकल्परु मु गुरु हेई फेरचंती. तेणु ठाकुरंकर जो शिक्षा सेटा ठाकुर निजे कहिचंती, तार एग्जैक्ट वर्डटा कोन ज्ञान भाई, स्वतंत्र
को कथाटा
से जो ठाकुर कहिचने मु जो शिक्षा देइची सेटा
निजस्व
सॉरी निजस्व. So it is his own patent. निजस्व means it is his own patent. तो सेटा को नीलाचल सारस्वत संघ is managing through a channel. जने शिक्षा दवा पई सेवारे अछंती, the entire managing body is deciding the syllabus, से अनुसार batch by batch सेठी शिक्षा पाउचंती. Whoever would like to take शिक्षा, he or she has to apply through proper channel. Thanking ourselves apart from eternal entity is aham bhava. Thinking ourselves apart from the eternal entity is aham bhava. I recollect. Yes, bhai.
Yeah, you can definitely define it that way. That creates a lot of problem in this world, yes, because we have that ego.
Yes. So we are exhausted with all the questions today. I think I haven't left anyone. If anyone, then please let us know. So requesting Devashish Bhai and Nirlipta Ma to flash the questions of today to be answered by everybody, and please flash at the same time at Nigam Swadhyay group also. So I think in another 1 or 2 session we will complete this English one. We are already ready to start the Odia Jibani. The day it will start, our Parichalaka Sarat Chandra Singhadeo Bhai will address this session. The way Santosh Bhai address the English session. Will inform all of you in advance. Whoever had applied for the seva of recapping and reading, there might be some wise or ma left behind. We will try to accommodate them for Odia reading and Odia recapping if at all they are comfortable. Otherwise, we will try to accommodate them in whichever way possible. We don't want to deprive anyone from the seva. So I think we have started getting answers. So thank you everybody for joining this session of today. Day by day, it's becoming very interesting because after the Siddhi life of Thakurjee, the Lila part is being read from the last sessions. So let all be immersed in those parts and remembering Thakurjee's life story. We will take our life ahead. So for today, we are closing this session. For tomorrow, we will be present exactly at 9 p.m. Requesting all of you to join. Till then, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Right.